Welcome back to New Age Parenting. In Soul Searching today, we are talking about sexual abuse and the confusions amongst youngsters today. What do you think, Sandeep, is important? What are the things which we need to empower a child? How should we do it? Parents are not aware. They don't know what to do.
Whatever is happening. That's a reality. So child must be aware that there is a reality, there is a perception, and there is something called memory. So memory what is coming in the reality. So if there is an incident happened in certain other schools, if you're taking school as a subject, if there's an incident happened in a school, so that is a headline, and then it comes into a memory of a child. Oh, this is what has happened. So he or she is perceiving it in the reality. So in the reality, it may not be happening. So there's a trust breach. So that's what, if you are empowered with reality and whatever is happening is not exactly normal, it is a part of growing up on both sides. So you need to deal in that way.
Is the child really able to handle and not feel like a victim? Do you think without any outside help, really, we can empower the child? Is it possible?
So in the first place, I think empowerment is understanding my own feeling. The child needs to be taught right from very early stage, whether the child is happy, unhappy, is feeling threatened, is scared, is uncomfortable, as you said in the beginning, and then should be able to voice it. You see, even as adults, sometimes we don't know what's going wrong with me.
You're not able to identify
the feeling and emotion.
Yeah.
So this is the training we need to give to the child right from the beginning, to be able to identify the feeling, express it loud and clear, right? And I think from there we can make a beginning on who to talk to, where if we have a cell, a teacher, my friend, my parent, my family, whoever the child is close to. So I think that kind of a thing, first to identify the feeling, express it, and then to be able to say no to things. That kind of an assertion. And that could be good not just with sexuality or anything to do, just to say I don't like it, so I'll not have it. I don't want you to touch me. So to be able to assert themselves in other areas so that this becomes a natural outcome of assertion.
Probably, I don't know, we can empower not only a child, we empower the people interacting with the children. So there's also focus which responsibility goes into, if it's a school working environment, so it has to be environmental based. So empower the teacher as well, that they do correct action all the time, or they are aware of all the things without being a defaulter in any kind of
and they
trust.
They should also be knowing that they might get accused also.
Sure.
For male teachers, it
So
can
that's
be
a fear
actually very
building on them.
disheartening.
There's a fear building on the other side.
Even the children, the boys, so many times, they are also living under this fear that we may be accused of, trying to chase a girl, to touch a girl in wrong places, something like that. They are also living under this fear. Leave apart the teachers.
So we really need to create a balance, understand everything, and I think the most important thing is having trust.
Yes.
In myself, in the world outside, in my parents, in my teachers, in my peers. Thank you so much for being with us on this show. In fact, it's a very important thing. What we are realizing, yes, we are living in an atmosphere of fear, but somewhere we are the ones who will have to change the setup, because we are the creators. We know what is it we are feeling. In the way Rituji said, that it is to identify the emotion, what is going through in me. And maybe, this soul searching has brought up a lot of issues. Maybe answers definitely lie in spiritual significance. So time now to move over to spiritual significance.
Every situation coming in one's life has a learning. We have two options. Either we remain a victim and keep holding to the happening and remain in pain and despair, or take the learning from the incident and move on, leaving the event behind. It may not be easy, as we have been traumatized while facing the situation, but just when the trauma is little subsided and the being is ready to think rationally, the question, why me, can be answered through wisely looking for a learning from the event. Once with the help of spiritual guidance, the learning has been identified, then our focus can shift to the learning, and the event is forgotten, and with it, the pain and despair as well. This process of finding my teachings or learning from every situation in my life can be empowering and takes me away from the victim mode.
Spiritual significance always makes us understand what is the reality. In the true sense, we've been living in confusion for a long time. Once we feel that we have become victims, we don't want to come out of that victim mode, and somewhere that disempowers us. We really need to be the winners. We need to take things in our hand, and that is what spiritual significance talks about. Now we understand what are the conflicts, what are the problems, what are the confusions, and we also understand spiritually what are the answers. So let's move over to mapping the conflict.
Child's view. I feel threatened and I'm conscious of my body, but I'm confused about what is sexual abuse.
Parents' view. I'm always fearful about my child's security. The world outside is becoming worse than ever before, and I keep indicating this to my child not to trust anyone.
Solution. Rather than creating fear and mistrust in children, we need to empower them with complete knowledge about what can be an abuse and how it can be prevented.
Child's view. Even if I'm uncomfortable about some gestures of my near and dear ones or teachers, I'm afraid to discuss this with my parents, as either they'll blame me, will put restrictions on me, or will go and fight with that person.
Parents' view. I can't tolerate someone daring to do anything to my child. It's on honor. Guilty should be punished if he is an outsider. But if he is a family member, then that has to be handled differently because it can create bad blood.
Solution. Don't confuse your child by reacting differently to different people for the same crime. More than the punishment for the culprit, it's important to heal the child from the trauma and empowering him to move on.
Child's view. If I complain, I'll be labelled as the victim and will receive pity and sympathy from everyone. I'll never be allowed to forget it. It's even worse than the abuse.
Parents' view. Once something happens, one has to be conscious and careful. It can happen again.
Solution. It will never happen again if we are able to accept the event as a learning. The learning can be the child needed to learn to be more assertive or had to become aware of his or her emotions. As a parent or a teacher, we need to help him identify the learning, which will help him forget the incidents. World can be very difficult. It can be in a mess. But it all depends how we see it, because we are the ones who create the world. If I change, the world changes. I have two options. Either I give in to the world or I create my own world. Option lies with us, and we have the power to create our own world. Time to take your leave, but before we go, thank you so much for all the mails and phone calls we are receiving. This is your platform. If you feel like getting in touch with us, please do mail us or give us a call, and you can send your all the queries to us also. In our next episode, we will be talking about substance abuse in school. Till the time we meet again, enjoy parenting.